back. It's another week of the Multiverse of Fandom podcast with Pete and myself.
What's happening, guys?
Short hiatus.
Yes, we're back again. The Batman came out on HBOMAX. That's probably we're gonna talk about that for sure, because seeing it again has definitely, for you especially, has changed the opinion a little bit.
I've seen it 3 or 4 times now
since it came out.
Yeah, no, altogether.
Oh,
I believe I've
still
seen it.
You saw it 3 times at home.
I saw it the night it came out. I'm sorry, we went.
Yeah.
Opening night. I saw it the night it was released on HBO Max. I saw it again that weekend, and then I saw it the following Saturday before we went to church. I saw most of it.
Oh wow! I didn't know you watched it that many times. That's pretty funny. That's
but
pretty
here's
good.
The thing. Before we get into it, though, there should be a disclaimer. I have not seen it all the way through since the theater. I have stopped. The earliest I've stopped is 2:23. But
you finish it, right? You just stop and then go.
Or eventually,
you just.
I think one of the times. I think the second viewing I stopped around 2:40. I forget what that is. That might be right when he's hanging off of the top of the stadium.
Oh thing. Yeah, like right at the end.
I believe that's where I stopped. But the first time I went all the way to the what part was it? Where they do the helicopter shot of them looking down.
Oh yeah, and he's giving that final monologue.
Yeah, he's got all that shit.
He used to be vengeance, now he needs to be hope or something.
Yeah, he's got all that soot all over him.
Yep.
I think that's where I stopped, somewhere right around there, that second time.
So you made it pretty far all the times. I watched it once. And I watched it all the way through. And I mean, it's definitely a different experience watching it at home. I definitely enjoyed watching it at home more, like, because there's certain movies that I feel like you have to pay very close attention to, and obviously this is one of those movies. Like, Spider-Man: No Way Home, or this week we got Doctor Strange 2. Those are like movies you want to experience in theaters, but like this movie, I feel like I enjoyed way more watching it at home.
I also don't feel like those Marvel movies are paced like this.
Well, yeah, it's completely different.
Those are popcorn flicks.
Yeah. It's a completely different tone and a completely different, just everything to this movie.
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest difference was I was able to focus a little bit more on some of the details. Specifically, most of the scenes where you see a lot of the detective work that he's trying to do or doing. I think I really, really like what they did with the police department and Batman specifically. They really emphasize the fact that he's just Gordon's friend.
Yeah, they don't like him yet. They're not like a team yet.
He doesn't have any friends in that department, really. And I really like the first scene where they went to the mayor's house. Not the first scene, the first time we really see the Batman doing detective work. I really like that. Just him walking in. All of them after that were fantastic too, especially when after the what's his name, was it the district attorney? He blew up, and then Batman, he went unconscious and he woke up and he was in the holding cell.
Oh yeah, at the funeral.
Yeah, I thought the funeral. Yeah, I thought the next scene directly after that was really, really smart, really well done with exactly what happened in there. Because like the only other time we really seen them getting close to unmasking Batman was in The Dark Knight, when he was unconscious and the Joker someone went over to Bale's.
Didn't it like cowl. Electrocute him?
Yeah,
I think that was the Joker. I think
it was the Joker.
Yeah, but
I thought somebody did it before him, and then he made fun of the guy. Remember, he was like,
"Could it have been? Was it in Begins? Maybe."
No. This was in The
Dark Knight.
After the motorcycle scene. I have to go back and watch it, but
yeah, I don't remember.
Anyways, but it wasn't like that. It was like, okay, he's in immediate, danger here.
Yeah,
he's in the police department. They're like maybe like a mouse hair away from arresting him.
Yep.
And
they were literally talking about it like I'm unmasking this freak. They were like, I don't care anymore. Like, I'm doing it. And then that's when he comes to and he goes after the guy.
Yeah. And Yeah, no, I thought he's like, give me 2 minutes with him or whatever.
Hmm.
And then we don't really see the exchange, but I think it's understood that right before he punches him, he grabs the key from his hand.
What do you mean? Of course we see that exchange.
No. Yeah, but you don't see the key going from his hand to him. It's very subtle.
Well, he says he's like I'm gonna give you a key. Go get to the roof or
Yeah, but
whatever.
it
You
happens
got to
once
get
you
out of
punch.
here.
It happens once you punches him.
The exchange.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't pick up on that. I was gonna say he definitely tells him though that he's gonna.
Oh no. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that you don't see
Okay,
it.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
That's why it's like one of those like quick little sleight of
Yeah.
hand tricks.
Yeah.
But that's a Batman prowess there, sleight of hand, stuff like that. Like he would be good at something like that. So I
Yeah.
appreciated that. The only thing I didn't like from that scene, and we're kind of bordering on rambling right now, is I understand why they did it, but I don't like the squirrel
I know.
suit.
I knew you were gonna bring it up.
But I
Yeah.
get it. He doesn't. This isn't like memory foam Bruce Wayne here with
Well,
the.
it is weird though, for sure, because the whole I don't know if we talked about this back in our like initial reaction for the movie, because now it's like we've sat with it for more than a month now,
Yep.
and we've been able to see it again. So I don't know if we did talk about it too much, but the suit completely changes when he goes into the
It
flying
does. Yeah.
suit.
It
And
does.
then which I like, because they always talk about, they've been saying how they want to make the movie more realistic and whatnot, but so then he flies through, he hits the bridge and the bus and whatever,
Yep.
and then the suit completely changes. Like the cape isn't on it, the suit, like everything about the suit looks so different if you look at it like for a second.
Yeah.
It's a completely different suit. So I don't know, like it's just weird how the they try to make one thing look more realistic, but then how they do it kind of changes everything. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm sure the way the second movie will play out, there will be some like quote unquote upgrades, like he's learned. Like obviously, you can't have another landing like that where you
Yeah.
smash into a bus and then you. It looked like he basically dislocated his hip on landing.
Yeah, seriously.
And then the next scene he's moving around just fine. But that's you have to
But
suspend
yeah,
your
you're right.
disbelief.
I think this movie, it's like the thing we talked about with his Bruce Wayne. He's learning that he has to play, for what it seems like, at least it's learning that he has to play the part of the billionaire playboy.
Yeah.
He's learning about um like when the cop, he was in the Riddler's apartment, and the cop says it was a tucker or whatever for carpet,
Mm.
what
Yeah,
the
the
murder
murder
weapon was.
weapon.
And he's like, wait, what is it? And he tells him again, he's like, you use it to like tuck the carpet, and then he rips
Mm.
the carpet up. So he's like, he doesn't know everything yet. Like he's still learning. And,
Mm.
and I like that because I hope that it's going to be like that, where he's adapting, and you see him learning and growing and becoming better and better as like the world's greatest detective.
Yeah, I think maybe this was purposefully done by Reeves because I think he knew what he was up against in the Nolan trilogy.
Mhm.
And you have Batman Begins, and that's the origin story. And then there's this like period of 8 months after Batman Begins that we don't see. We just cut right to the Dark Knight and the Joker. You know
Yep.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't see that 8 month period where quote unquote adjustments have been made. You
Yep.
see some adjustments in the beginning of the Dark Knight with like the suit. You know what I mean? And he's like, okay,
Mhm.
I can't turn my head. He's worrying about dogs, etc. He's got to become a little bit more agile as a fighter, I guess.
Yep.
But you don't see the other adjustments. So I think that's where this movie kind of it doesn't do better than, but it kind of goes on its own, separate from what Nolan's done. It's kind of blazing its own trail, if you will. So I
Yeah.
can appreciate that. I definitely I respect both decisions for what they are because I think they're both good stories, one being a little bit better than the other. That's a personal choice. Um, but I think that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to make it so that okay, this is how this Batman is playing out. You know what I mean? This is his story separate from whatever sort of template may have been created when Nolan finished his trilogy.
Yeah.
Um, there's nothing wrong with it.
Well, it's just a different take. You can't have it's like you don't want to see, especially as a viewer, like we don't want to see the same thing redone over and over again. Like
No,
there's going to
no,
be
no.
differences. There's going to be
Yeah.
things that you like will like more from an older movie, and what like some things you like from this series. Um it's always going to be something different, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong or it's bad.
Yeah. It's a person. I think it's a preference thing. And like I said, I really like the detective side of the Batman that they showed here. I don't think we've seen that much, probably a little bit more than the Dark Knight.
Mhm.
Um, although there was a good amount in there that I liked as
Well,
well.
there was definitely detective work in the Dark Knight, like
Oh
we've
yeah.
talked about it, but
Oh, yeah.
it's this movie seems to, because the fight scenes and the action scenes weren't as like massive, I guess, weren't as like long, like played out as other Batman movies. It puts like an emphasis more on the detective work.
Yeah, I'd say it's a little bit less superhero. You know,
Yeah.
well, you have a lot of those. There's a fair amount of like jumping, and like there was that one scene on the tower of that unfinished building with Gordon, and afterwards he
Mhm.
ran down the side of it.
Oh yeah, no, like there's definitely going to be things
Yeah.
like that. Like that's no doubt.
But like the one, I think if you remember at the dinner party where the Joker showed up at the was the fundraiser for Dent,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Yep.
Batman dove out of the window to save Rachel, and he basically just like spun down and landed on the car because the drag of the cape slowed him down.
Supposedly, yeah, yeah.
I could believe that, because that technology that he has is so souped up that okay, this is like $100 million equipment here. So yeah, but I think that the way that Reeves is going with his character, like he hasn't figured out how to put his money to work to
Mhm.
make to
And yeah,
make the
like he doesn't
gadgets.
he doesn't care to make the appearances at Wayne Enterprises. He doesn't care about. He's like, I don't care about the money or whatever. My family's like
Yeah,
this is my family's legacy. So it's the he's constantly learning, and I think that's going to be a theme going into the next one. Like he's gonna be adapting and growing from like his second year. We're only on the Gotham Project year 2. I think that's what the Notebook said.
yeah, year two, yeah,
So
yeah. I wonder what year one looked like.
clearly the Joker was involved.
Must have been a crappy year.
Yeah, seriously.
um,
I'm sure you think we'll get flashbacks because obviously we're not going to get like a year 1 movie because we're already in year 2. So maybe we get some, especially if they use the Joker going forward, which they're obviously going to, but maybe we see like flashbacks of how they first met.
I think it would be appropriate to have like flashback moments. I don't know that like having multiple like long
Oh
flashback
no, no, no.
scenes.
I'm talking like let's say they go, maybe there's like an Ace Chemical, and then like when Batman's walking through the Ace Chemical or something, and you get like a quick like 30-second little flashback of him fighting the Joker, and the Joker maybe falling into the acid, or like not necessarily that, but maybe like him chasing the Joker, or him like, or the Joker making his presence known in Gotham, like just
Do
something
you
really small.
do you remember the scene in Death in a Family where Robin was tied up to the chair on the
Yeah,
ground, basically dead?
yeah, in the warehouse.
That yeah, what I think what would be cool is if somehow he ends up going back to the same warehouse and he goes in the same room and there's this quick little flashback.
Yeah,
I don't know that
exactly.
I don't know that
Exactly.
something like that has happened in that story yet, but that would be something like that would be cool. And maybe a couple of them just to kind of bridge the gap if we're not doing these longer flashback scenes.
Yep.
Um, but there's a lot of different ways that he can go with it now. He has a solid base, right? I probably stick to around an 8 out of 10. That's probably, I don't forget what I said, 6.5 or 7, something like that.
I think you said, yeah, like 6. I think you had it like 6.5.
Yeah, I'd say an 8 is fair. I think is pretty fair. I know some people that really liked it, and like this is their
Well,
jam.
I
Probably give it a
really, I
9.
really, really liked it. Like if, and I enjoyed it a lot. But I think when I can't remember exactly, but when I rated it, when we did our review, I think I was like at an 8. And I'm staying firm at an 8. I'm not going to go higher. Like I enjoyed it, even though I enjoyed it more viewing it at home and like watching it a second time.
Yeah,
I'm still going to hold it an 8 because I think that's like you said, I think that's a fair like a fair rating for it, but it has the potential, I feel, to get to a 9, in a sequel movie. Like it's just certain things you gotta you gotta you gotta fix along the way.
Yeah, they can't know. I don't think you could do another Batman movie with the suit the way it is
Mhm.
without having some of those the Cape Crusader moments where he's flying. Like we got so much of that in Nolan's trilogy, especially the
Yeah.
Dark Knight. You remember the scene on the this that they shot on the Sears Tower when he was diving into Lau's building?
Mhm.
That was cool.
Yeah.
So I'd love to. You got to have some. It's in every
Well, maybe
movie.
because that's what I'm saying. Maybe because we don't even know how he's like. It looks like he's making a lot of the his equipment himself.
Yeah,
So maybe eventually we do see like a Lucius
yeah.
Fox, or we do
He's
like
gonna need.
he needs
Yeah,
help. Like
he's gonna need some help. Yeah,
he has that, like in every comic, Batman has this like support. He has like
tech
the
guy.
Bat family. He's
Yeah,
got the tech guy. He's got it's not
Barbara Gordon.
yeah, like you have all these characters that are
Yeah,
there for support. So we gotta see something at least. Like only really thing we saw was Alfred.
yeah. We didn't get too much of him either, although he did solve the cipher for him. Um,
And he referenced his days in the service. He referenced him not being a father, like being able to be a father, like he taught Bruce how to
yeah,
fight and all this stuff. So we did get a little background of Alfred. Like we know that Alfred did a lot of Batman's training, or Bruce's training. So we got some background with Alfred.
the one thing I was sort of on the fence about, and I'm more of a fan of the cave is the Underground Railroad, but I get the realism of it because there's a rumor. I don't know if you heard this. Um, it's not a rumor, it's an urban legend that there is a secret underground railroad system in New York specifically for the president. So that
Oh,
if he
okay.
has to get out,
Yeah, they have that like
they have it for him. So
underground.
the rumor was is that is where
He has the cave.
he has a cave. It's a decommissioned, rail system. It even says Wayne on top of the one
Yeah, I
of the
remember that.
balconies.
Yeah.
So again, another detail that I picked up. I think that was like either the second or the third time I had seen it right before the
Yeah.
last time.
Interesting. Very interesting.
So that was cool to me. I can appreciate that specifically, but we don't see the manor.
We didn't see the
We
manor at
don't see the
all.
manor at
We
all.
what we assume is the manor when they're in that house, but then
I think it's a
later
penthouse.
it's a penthouse
Yeah.
because he's driving trying to get to Alfred.
And you see the smoke.
The smoke coming out of
It's
the
a
building,
penthouse.
the
Yeah.
tall building. So it's a penthouse, and that is where is where presumably the Batcave is, because Alfred comes down the elevator
Yeah, I think
from
that
the penthouse. It must be.
if you remember the opening scene when the Nirvana song started playing when he went on the bike
Yep.
after the crime scene,
Yeah.
if you pause right before you see him go down the stairs, you see this really long railroad system, and at the end is Wayne Tower.
So he was just coming from there
I
or
don't
something.
I don't know that the penthouse is where the cave, the quote unquote cave is, or maybe I don't
Maybe it's connected. Like maybe it's the underground like tunnel system that it connects his penthouse to
know. Maybe there's a
Wayne Tower.
penthouse
Maybe.
in Wayne Tower.
Yeah, could be.
That would be interesting.
But yeah,
Either
we didn't see the manor at
no.
all. So you assume that he will move over to the manor, and we can assume that maybe he'll have like a bigger bat cave and all the bat cave we're used to seeing, where it's very like huge,
Um,
just in a cave.
so I have a cool theory for the second movie. Um, if they do end up going, with the Court of Owls, I think that's where we could see a lot of the Wayne Manor, especially if we're talking flashbacks.
Uh-huh.
Who is the cat that's supposedly related to Bruce? Is it Lincoln?
Who's the what?
Who is the guy from the Court of Owls series that was supposedly related to Bruce Wayne?
Oh, hold on.
I'm trying to look it up because I have an interest. Is it Lincoln March?
It might be.
Okay, if that's who it is, Yeah, allegedly Thomas Wayne Jr. Okay. So there's a lot of flashbacks. I forget what I'd have to pull them out from that series.
Yeah, Lincoln
Um,
March.
to back with them as kids at the manor. So I think it would be reasonable to say something happens between this Batman movie and the next one that forces, or maybe not even something like that. If we're talking Bruce Wayne and him kind of maintaining or building that Bruce Wayne billionaire image, I think it's reasonable to say that he goes back to the manor
Mhm.
to show, he builds it back up, he starts using it again because for the sake of the image of a billionaire, it makes sense for you to have something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe he starts using the cave at the manor instead, and you start getting flashbacks that way, and you see, I forget what scene it was. I remember there was one with Alfred and in the front by the gate somehow.
Mhm. Yep.
I don't, but anyways, that doesn't matter the details, but something like that could work.
There's
Um,
I feel like it's I feel like something that was very good about this movie was how many little teases they made in like they put into the movie that could potentially lead to the second movie, like the premise of the second movie. Um, there was the Thomas Elliot.
yeah, Thomas Elliot. Yep.
They literally say hush in the movie. There's the Joker.
Mhm.
There's I don't think they mention the Court of Owls at all, but it's been talked about that a Court of Owls movie could, or a Court of Owls main villains could be in the second movie. They kind of,
That's going to be a wild movie.
that would be a
It's
wild
going to be a
movie.
wild movie.
Then they do a little reference where he shoots himself with the venom or adrenaline, whatever it may be. They kind of, that's like a little reference to Bane. So they've set it up in a way, I feel like, that we can talk about it for hours and speculate on what the second movie is going to be, but until they announce something or until we get some sort of confirmation, it's all just assumptions and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, I
And I
mean,
and I like that a lot because it's not like the Marvel, which is fine. Like Marvel, DC does it too, but the end credit scene where it leads into a second movie or a next movie, this is just kind of very like open ended, and wherever we go, we go.
I think maybe that was done on purpose because I don't know that there's a script yet. So
Yeah,
perhaps they kind of
they don't know either.
they left the road, they left the doors open for these different things to say, okay, let's see what we can get. It's the best possible, plot or storyline that we get before we start writing something.
Yep.
Because like we talked about before, like DC's not good with these formulas. They have to, it's got to be original, it's got to be different than Marvel. And
I mean,
um
it's like you said that how crazy a Court of Owls movie would be.
just think about the underground scenes alone.
Yeah, definitely. But
Remember those
then
mazes?
because at least I think, because this is something that I really hope for soon, that we get like a Robin in the movies, and maybe we get like Dick Grayson. If you're doing Court of Owls, Dick Grayson's grandfather is a Talon,
Hmm.
so you have that connection. You can bring him in, whatever, and then you build off from there. You have like further ground now to build off more. So there's
Hmm.
just a lot to do, a lot of options.
Yeah, there's a lot of options for sure. I don't know that there's too many deleted scenes.
There was the Joker one, obviously, that we saw.
Apart, I'm saying like, yeah,
Um,
apart from that,
I
apart from
don't
maybe
since that one, I don't think there's been any released. So maybe there's going to be more when it goes on to Blu-ray.
I looked at the Steelbook. I was considering it, but then I looked at it's just 2 hours of special features. It's not that much.
Okay, because I
Um,
know the No Way Home Blu-ray and the Steelbook had 80 minutes of deleted scenes.
wow. See,
Yeah,
something like that would be
that's
worth.
a lot too.
I would
Like,
if this was the Batman 80 minutes of deleted scenes. Yeah, I'll go and get it
yeah.
because that's 80 editions, an hour and 10 minutes or 20 minutes.
So it's pretty. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. That's pretty cool. So I don't know if there's any more or if they've released any. I have no idea.
I don't think so. But regardless, I think this is a movie that plays better at home on your own, especially if you have a solid speaker system. It really is.
It sounds amazing.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's like I saw it twice in theaters, and the second time I was telling you I saw it in IMAX.
Mm,
It changes it like completely.
yeah.
Just the sound alone.
I think I have a couple of songs from Nirvana that I think that I don't know that they're gonna do it, but
But what if they do? Like, what if they just keep the Nirvana theme and then
they should. There's a song.
movie?
It's not Nirvana's, but they covered it. Kurt Cobain covered it before he died. I believe the last show he played. It's on Spotify. The song's called "The Man Who Sold the World," and it's originally a David Bowie song, but the Nirvana cover is hands down far. It's way better and David Bowie's a legend, but this cover is phenomenal. And every song off of that album, the Unplugged MTV album, is fantastic. But I think that they could work that song into this next one, "The Man Who Sold the World." I mean, if you read the lyrics, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I hope they do, because like imagine, the first trailer we got at DC Fandom it opens up with Nirvana, and you could tell how intense it is. Like it was pretty sick watching that for the first time. So like getting a second trailer and getting a different Nirvana song, I feel like would just keep that same tone that this movie had throughout the whole 3 hours.
What's even interesting is, apart from Reeves being a big Nirvana fan, is the lyrics to the "Something in the Way," which is the song that's played throughout the movie. There's part of it, part of it, really the only verse there's one verse and there's a chorus. Towards the end of the first verse, which is the same as the second verse because it just repeats. And I'm living off the grass and the drippings from my ceiling. That kind of that leads me to believe that he's talking about a bat. Drippings, dropping, something like that. So I think there's a solid connection there. I think there's a very good choice for a lead song here. And Nirvana has plenty of songs that he could choose from that are really, really dark. I think this one was written about Kurt Cobain's childhood. And "Something in the Way" was titled because he thought everything was in the way every time he tried to feel better. So I mean, if people are talking about how this Batman is so emo and gothic, but I mean, they're not just dressing him up like that. The music is reflecting that as well.
Quick side note, because I know we're going to talk about it in a little bit, but Thor, the new trailer, they seem to be doing that a lot, where the song that they choose is very specific to it, because so I didn't really know this until I watched some videos on it, but the song they used for Thor Ragnarok was the Immigrant Song.
It sounded really
by Led Zeppelin, right?
So, yeah, Led Zeppelin.
So it talks about like, if you listen to the lyrics, it talks about someone leaving their home, like being an immigrant, whatever. It's like the I believe it says like the hammer of the gods, and it talks about all this stuff. And what happens in the movie, Thor loses his hammer. He then him and his people lose their home, and they become immigrants of Earth to Earth. So it's like it kind of tells the story through the song. It's like very specific that way. And there's like a whole theory that we could talk about in a little bit when we talk about the trailer, about the song they picked for this trailer for the new Thor movie. So just a little side note that we can go back to Batman.
To the credit of what you're saying, and the people that are defending this movie, saying that this is Batman, he hasn't become really Batman, he's figuring things out. The song's titled "Something in the Way," and something in the way is himself through the movie, because he thinks that he's got to be very rigid and he can't do all this billionaire stuff.
No, definitely, because that's the thing we talk about. He has to learn that he has to play the part of the billionaire. And it's a two-part role to be Batman. It's a two-part role. But like I said, I think all aspects are pretty solid. I think the movie earned its B. I'm gonna watch it again. I'll probably watch it this week again, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, it's a good movie to watch. And what's cool is the same with The Dark Knight and most of Nolan's, pretty much all of them, is I felt like I could go back and I could watch parts of it. I'd never have to watch all of it. if there was a specific scene in The Dark Knight that I really liked. I'm gonna give you a good example, like all that stuff with Lau when he went to China or Japan,
Yeah.
wherever it was, to there's a word I forget, to get him out, illegally.
Yeah. Smuggle him.
What's
I don't
that?
know. Smuggle him.
Yeah, through Skyhook or whatever
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
program
Oh,
was.
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked all of that stuff. And sometimes I would go back and watch part of it. Sometimes, you'd start the movie just to start it and you fall asleep, or you never finish it. But I don't know how many times I've done that with The Dark Knight or any of those three movies. But I feel like this is a movie because it's 3 hours. You can kind of pick an hour. It doesn't necessarily have to be the beginning, could be in the middle, and enjoy some of that stuff without having to finish the movie if you don't have 3 hours to kill,
Yeah. So yeah, okay. So now I think I want, if you want, we'll switch gears to the Thor trailer,
Okay.
which you just watched before we started recording, which is
Yeah,
funny. I didn't think you would. I thought
I'd
you'd seen it
so many
already.
screen grabs of it throughout the week and the last couple of weeks, so I just assumed it wasn't the full trailer.
Yeah. Well, so there's a lot of interesting things that happen in the trailer. Very kind of like smaller details and stuff. So not a lot of stuff that I picked up on. I had to like do like I had to watch like breakdowns of the trailer and stuff. So there's a lot of, one of the things that's a common theme in the trailer, there's a lot of references to different gods. So obviously we have Thor. Then they show Zeus grab the lightning bolt. So they're on they show Mount Olympus. And then there's the which I was showing you before in the trailer. There's the scene where I believe it's Thor and Korg standing over this, what it looks to be like this giant monster. It's this like white giant monster that's like laying dead on the ground. So one of the things I learned was that is another god. It's one of Thor's friends.
Okay.
So
Does he have a name?
Let me look it up.
I know a lot of those names from God of War. From playing God of War.
Let me see. I'm looking it up. So I should have looked it up before. I won't be able to find it right now, probably. But it's like a god that's laying there dead, and so they already reference in the trailer about for Gore the God Butcher, who's the character that Christian Bale's playing.
Okay, the butcher,
so the God Butcher. So
God Butcher, yeah.
we're gonna see how this character is going around and killing all these different gods. So that's why we're gonna get Zeus and the Greek gods, which is pretty cool. You have already the Norse gods. You have, and now we've had the introduction of the Egyptian gods in Moon Knight. So there's a lot of things like we could potentially see a crossover with Moon Knight in this movie, because he is a part of or he gets his powers from an Egyptian god.
I'd be more interested to see some kind of movie where the gods fight each other.
That would be cool too. Yeah.
Egyptians versus Greeks versus Norse versus.
I don't think they'll do. It would be cool, but I don't think they'll do it, because you have like, there has to be, I think, an introduction of Hercules maybe in the film.
I don't know that there's any comic canon too about that. Is there, the gods fighting each other?
I don't know.
All three of them. All three.
I don't think. I'm not sure. But they're.
Wait, did you say Hercules? Is Hercules part of the Marvel canon?
Hercules and Thor are apparently best friends in the comics.
Really?
So
I've never really read Marvel comics, so I don't know.
No, same. This is all stuff I've like Googled, I've read on Twitter, like all this stuff. So especially once they showed, because we knew that who's playing Zeus, Russell Crowe, I think.
Was it?
I think so. I'm looking it up now because I'm not sure, and I don't want to be like
they've butchered, not Marvel specifically, a lot of movie franchises have butchered Zeus badly. So I really, really hope that this is
it is Russell Crowe. but
Russell Crowe.
he's not they don't have him like listed as like who he's playing.
Oh yeah, they do.
Really?
IMDb, Russell Crowe as Zeus.
Oh, okay. On Google, they didn't have it. So yeah,
Oh,
but we knew he was playing Zeus. I'm pretty sure it was announced a while ago. So he's playing Zeus, and then like you can again, I'm saying assume a lot, but like maybe you assume that um Hercules might be in it, and you see that relationship between Thor and Hercules, which would be really cool. Um, but then so now let me go back to real quick to the song for the trailer that we were saying. So there's a really cool scene at the beginning of the trailer where Thor's running and you see him running as a kid, and then like he's a little older, he's wearing his like comic accurate suit from the old Avengers comics and Thor comics. And then
mm.
you see him like a little bit older, like maybe what he is now. You see him like working out. He's losing the weight that he had in Endgame.
Yeah, he's doing the chain.
Yeah, so he's getting back into shape.
Yeah.
And so the song starts off and it's she's got a smile that seems to me reminds me of childhood memories. So you see him as a kid and you see him growing up. So it's like he's remembering maybe like a better time, because think about it, like he's not in a good place right now. Like everyone that he loves, his family is like dead.
Yeah.
Like even Tony's dead. Cap's gone. Like all of his like some of his closest friends are even gone now.
Everybody's gone. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's I think it's either this has to be either a connection to um Jane Foster coming back to the movie. So maybe she kind of reminds him of this better life, or like this, his past when things were better. Or this was I don't remember the YouTube channel I saw it on, but this is for that. I'll try to find the video. Maybe I'll link it in the description if I find it
Okay.
again. But so the talks about a theory that there's this character named Angela, and it's Thor's half sister, and she's like not like Hela that was trying to like kill Thor or whatever. She's like a support system for him, is what it talks about. So maybe she's the one that kind of reminds him of the childhood that he had and the family, because it's also not mentioned in the movies if his mom, I forget her name, but if his mom is actually his mom, because Odin sleeps around with a lot of people,
Yeah.
and he
I
has a
know
lot
that.
of
Yeah.
different wives who
Offspring.
have the kids. So it's like maybe we see Thor's real mother, and then this is like his like a half sister or a real sister. Pretty cool theory. I'll find the video and I'll put it in the description, so
This
you guys
this
can see
look
that.
this looks like it's pretty reminiscent of Ragnarok in terms of style
Yeah.
and enjoyability. Ragnarok's a really fun movie. Like it's visually very pleasing. This looks to be about the same. I made a comment to Peter before we started. This movie looks like it's a good time to trip out to while you're watching. But it really, what Marvel does is they create a very visually pleasing experience. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So it's
Well,
like
that scene where he's sitting like on the little cliff with the tree,
yeah,
and you see there's a sun and there's like two
yeah,
moons or something.
that's cool.
It's like a cool scene, but also that kind of reminds me. I think what the trailer does a good job of is it does show the kind of, I guess you could say, like struggle that Thor has or has had in the last like
Mm,
few movies. Like he was like depressed, like he feels like he let everyone down when he didn't kill Thanos, right? And then in the beginning of the movie, like they go and chop his head off. So we're like, we see Thanos, his armor is as if it's like a scarecrow, it's on like the stake or whatever.
yeah,
He's in this field, he's like retired. And then in this trailer we kind of see the same thing. Like I think the line that Thor says is like, these hands were once used for battle, but now they're used for like peace or something, or like, I don't know, like building. I don't remember exactly what he says, but the Stormbreaker is buried. and then he's on this remote planet, is what it seems like, similar to Thanos. So it's like his past is still like haunting, like it seems like he still blames himself for the past.
It looks like if you go to 102,
Okay, let me
it
pull it up.
looks like they're at Olympus,
Oh yeah, where he catches the lightning bolt.
just based off of that statue and the Greek the architecture and the columns. That looks like it's a pretty really cool rendition of what Olympus is supposed to look like.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing it
So
now.
at some point we're going to see him go there. It looks like there's New Asgard as well.
Yeah, we see Valkyrie.
Yeah, kind of like a utopia type of place.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a lot of Stormbreaker. I'm just kind of geeking out because like a lot of this stuff was in God of War, and I'm really excited for the next God of War game. But yeah, that thing on the frozen planet, where is that? Is that Thor? Or is that Hulk with Thor?
I'm pulling it up. I think that's Korg.
Oh, that's Korg. Okay,
I think it's Korg and Thor.
I don't know who Korg is.
What do you mean you don't know who Korg is?
Who is it?
The rock alien from Ragnarok, the one that's like in the prison.
Oh yeah.
What do you mean you don't know Korg? It's Korg, man. Hey, Thor, new Master 69's back.
Yeah. New Master 69. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that creature. Like I want to find the picture. I'll find it and send it to you. I think it's from what is it from?
So it's
like God of Thunder comic or something.
There's more Olympus too. When the boat's taken off with the horses, the next scene at 041 is Olympus as well. And I really like how it looks. It's just like different parts of a city that are floating on clouds. That looks really cool. Like this is what I'm talking about. Like this is something cool.
Wait, is it the one where he's catching the lightning bolt? Is that the scene you're talking about?
Go to 041.
Oh,
and then you can see the lightning bolt kind of shoot through, I think.
Oh yeah.
And then
I didn't notice that.
Next scene is something different. And then something different after that. And then you see the Stormbreaker.
Oh, and then you see him catch. Then you see Zeus catch the lightning bolt.
Yeah. So that's what Zeus is going to look like. It looks like he's a little overweight.
A little older.
So this is Olympus. So that's cool.
It is. It looks very like visually pleasing from the trailer.
And it looks pretty accurate. Like I'm not all into Greek mythology, but this doesn't look cheap.
Yeah.
This looks pretty well done to me. Like, especially how his slaves or harem next to him looks. I doubt that's Athena, but if you look at the way that the women are dressed,
the clothes look like very like authentic or whatever however you want to say it.
So that's interesting. The frozen beast, that reminds me of God of War, because in God of War, I believe it's Thor's brother that's frozen on the ground and part of the map. And there's a big boss battle around that area at one point towards the end of the game. I could be wrong. I don't know if that was Thor's brother or not. But there's a couple of Olympus scenes. So we have them walking into Olympus.
Yeah.
And you have I don't know. It looks to me like Zeus is hosting something when he catches the light bulb.
Yeah.
So it looks like there's people watching. So that might be an arena down there. So maybe we have Thor fighting someone. Maybe Thor is going to fight Hercules or something.
Maybe, and that's like how he's introduced or something.
Or like
you know what's interesting to me? I just thought of this now. So we haven't talked about yet Jane Foster being the mighty Thor. So that's the very end. It's the very last like shot of the trailer.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm like forgetting something, but obviously, right, we see Mjolnir get broken in Ragnarok. Hela breaks it, destroys the hammer. Mm-hmm. And then in this scene, in the very end, it's at like 121 starting. We see the hammer's broken and it's put back together. Thor in Endgame when he goes back in time, he takes the hammer from whatever year he was in. Remember that? And it's like it's not the broken hammer. So I wonder when that like changes. Maybe maybe Cap puts it back when he's taking the
I don't.
stones back or something.
I'm not the greatest with the Marvel theories, but it sounds likely. Yeah.
I don't know. I was just thinking that. Not that it's like a big deal. I was just like curious because I didn't realize that. I didn't realize it until right now. But um, her costume looks pretty good for Thor the mighty Thor.
Yeah, it looks like she bulked up, but it's weird because if you look at recent pictures of her, she doesn't look like that at all. So I wonder if,
Maybe they filmed them early. They could have filmed these scenes
yeah,
earlier. Or
she looks pretty.
it could be like CGI. It could be like some.
That's what I was gonna say. Like nothing against Natalie Portman, but like her arms look pretty big.
I know I have it paused right now. Like she's jacked. Like you can see the shoulder separation.
I wonder if we ever see her without a mask on in that state. I wonder if it's a double.
Oh, maybe. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe it's like when maybe when she's just Jane Foster, right? Maybe she's powered down and then she has the hammer and she powers up or something.
That would make sense. In that case, CGI would make sense because those delts are pretty effing big.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even think of that, but that could be something that they do.
Yeah, that looks those. I'm sorry, but and hey, listen, if she did it and it's
If she did it, that's pretty sick. Fantastic, that's pretty cool.
But I don't know. She looks like she's bigger than me.
That's pretty cool though. And maybe it could be that, but I'm excited to see her as Thor because maybe then we get. Do you remember in Loki? Did you watch Loki?
Yeah.
Do you remember in like it may have been the last episode or the second to last episode? There's a scene where you see when he's in like the point after time or something.
Sure.
Where Kang the Conqueror is, or the version of Kang the Conqueror, and he's with the other Lokis.
Uh-huh.
There's a jar, and in the jar is Throg. Is Thor is like the frog Thor.
The frog Thor. I vaguely remember that.
And he's like trying to get out, and his hammer, like you see the hammer like just outside of the jar, and he's trying to get to it. So maybe we see like an introduction to more like Thor characters.
Okay.
Which because they obviously show us, we knew that Jane was going to be Thor. Mm-hmm. So maybe we see some more because there was a little tease that they haven't done anything with since then. So
is he doing another movie after this?
I don't know, but I don't think he necessarily wants to stop anytime soon.
So this is the fourth one.
Yeah. They're giving Tom Holland 3 more movies, so why not give Thor?
Give Thor 2 more, make it 6.
Well, 2 more. That's what I'm saying. Like, give him another trilogy.
I recently rewatched them all, and I'm telling you, the second one was not good.
Yeah, the second one isn't great. Like, that's why no one talks about the second one that much.
I know it's a shame because the first one is very comparable to Man of Steel in a lot of regards.
Well, yeah, because they're in the town, the southern town or something. That's the big. Yeah, they're fighting on the streets. On the street,
but it's a shame because it was a great setup in this. I don't know what happened.
I don't know. Like, I feel like the second one, they tried to do too much with like tie-ins with like Infinity Stones and all these different things, and then it like Thor is supposed to be like a dark character, and he has like a messed up past. He has all these struggles and stuff, but that movie, like even compared to the first one, the tone of it was like I feel like was such a miss.
Was the second one the one with all the giants?
They had the elves,
or where they went to well, I was so into God of War 3 months ago, and now I'm forgetting all of the lore now. I forget.
They're the dark elves who break into the city and they kill his mom. I think there were some frost giants in it, maybe from Loki's planet.
Jotunheim,
yeah.
So the one where they went to Jotunheim. I think
that's the second one also.
Yeah. That's what was intriguing to me. But then it turned into this it felt like this like medieval type of movie. And I'm sorry, but I don't think Zach Levi did the greatest job.
Oh, with his character? Well, I mean,
I couldn't take him seriously because I know him as Chuck.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, and then they just kill him off right at the beginning.
Yeah, and then didn't they switch actors?
No, they just killed him because he was in all 3. He made an appearance in all 3.
Really?
Yeah, but they killed him off right when Hela is brought into the movie when she goes to Asgard. They
Okay.
they kill him off because he was going to get ready for Shazam. Was I think the reasoning behind it.
I think we
So
talked about this. Yeah.
yeah, we must have talked about that before. But
Um,
overall, I'm like excited. Like I've watched the trailer a few times. I've watched a few breakdown videos, but I didn't like kind of like you were talking about how like visually pleasing and how like well done it looks, just like from a like viewing standpoint, like the visuals and stuff. I didn't look at the visuals much.
it's Marvel, man. It's just it looks like it's very well put together. The
Yeah.
trailer, and we'll definitely. I like that you see different worlds. I hate when a
Hmm.
movie is stuck. Well, I don't hate, but it, I like to see different. I like to go on an amusement park ride. You know
I'm
what I mean?
curious though. Yeah, no, definitely. And I'm curious to see where Mount Olympus is. Is it its own planet? We don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, is it its own planet? Is it on Earth? You know, like how they do that.
But going back to what I said really quickly, and then I want to respond to you. But the amusement park ride, like the Batman, I don't feel the same way about it as I do watching the Batman, as I do watching like Thor Ragnarok. I sit down for a Marvel movie and I care less about the details
Yeah.
than I do about watching the Batman, because with the Batman, you're kind of forced to focus on some of the details because that makes a lot more things more, if you're a fan,
Well,
enjoyable.
that's
That's
why.
why I understand why certain people that aren't Batman fans don't like the Batman.
Well, that's why also we just talked about for so long how much of a better experience it was watching it at home because you
Yeah,
can take the
exactly.
time to to pick up on certain things you may not be able to when you're in the theater.
But with a Marvel movie, I have an enjoyable time in the theater and home because I'm relaxing, I'm lying back at a nice big screen, and it's an amusement park, right? It's meant to
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah, no,
take you on that.
that's what Marvel does best. They appeal the movie. Like we haven't read the comics, we don't know a lot of the backstory. We know a lot of the backstory from the movies, and there's certain things that we know more of than others, but like not as much background that we do about DC.
Yeah,
So we can go into this movie as like as more casual, if you want to call it casual Marvel fans, and we can enjoy the movie to its like full extent because there's nothing in it that's gonna like completely confuse you if you don't know about it.
exactly.
It's just
Exactly.
it's just an enjoyable ride that you can spend your time like 2 hours and it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great time.
Which I'm sure this is going to be. And I mean,
Mhm. If it's anything like Ragnarok, it's gonna be like really good.
I keep telling you to play it before the sequel comes out. You got to play God of War
I
because
know, I know, I know, I know.
it's going to.
I know I have to.
But that's why I went back and rewatched the Thor trilogy because it's so
Once
interesting.
yeah.
The Norse mythology, the different, the freaking the what's the thing that they spin and they go to the different planet? I forgot now.
Oh
They go into this room and they
yeah,
have
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah. I'm thinking, I'm
this like
thinking.
crystal thing.
Everyone, yeah, everyone's killing us right now. Who's watching this is like
What the heck
yelling
is
the
it
name.
called? It's
The
on my
Bifrost.
the Bifrost.
The Bifrost. Yeah, I got
And
to it. I
you
got to it
they talk
eventually.
about it so much in the movies, but in the game, the Bifrost is a big deal too.
Yeah.
So it's like you're taking what you know from the movies and it's in the game, and the game is giving you stuff too. And then you want to go back and rewatch the movies, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, that's cool.
Yeah. No, there's that's what's good about Marvel though, especially like it's not necessarily do or die or something if you don't watch or if you don't know a lot of the background.
Did we in the movies was Jormungandr or whatever the heck the big snake, was he in it? So
Was that in the game?
in the game, Jormungandr, or I forget how, I'm definitely mispronouncing it. It means huge monster. It's the Midgard Serpent or the World Serpent. And
Oh, okay.
basically, it's wrapped around Midgard.
Yeah, I don't think they've showed
It's
that at
alive.
all.
I wonder if they'll bring that in.
Well, so you said it's a god.
It is a god, yeah,
So maybe we see it in this movie because Gore the God Butcher is going after gods.
yeah. So he's
So
the
that
middle
could
child.
be uh-huh.
What were you saying?
I was gonna say that could be like another person that Gore the God Butcher goes after in this movie and a new introduction.
because the serpent is the child of Loki, the middle child of Loki, and I don't know how to pronounce it, the giantess something.
Uh-huh. Oh, interesting.
But that's, I think the game and the movies have kind of
Well, yeah,
different.
it'll be like a little different, for sure, a little different stuff, but that would be really cool. That would be really cool because I wouldn't be surprised. They've already showed one god dead.
Mm,
They've showed uh completely new gods with the Greek gods. We have now the Egyptian gods. Black Panther gets his powers from the I forget the god's name, but that's another
Amenhotep or some shit like that.
I don't know,
I
sure.
don't, I don't know.
But yeah, like that's another god we see. Now maybe they introduce this one too. The one you just said.
Um, that would be pretty cool. I mean, again, the nice thing about these Marvel movies and Thor is I'm not tied to the characters as much as I am Batman, so I have less to worry about when I go and see.
Yeah, you're enjoying the movie for more of it being a movie
Yeah,
in a way.
yeah, and I'm not like a pissed off fanboy. I didn't have a cape. It didn't work.
Which is, for the Marvel fans, there might be like hardcore Marvel fans that we are with DC that are going to be coming out of this movie and pissed off about something.
I feel like those people are few and far between though compared to DC fans because
Yeah.
Marvel's done a really good job. I don't know any Marvel fans that are pissed at any of those movies. Do you? Apart from like a couple here and there?
Yeah, apart from a couple, there's definitely a couple, especially now more recently, where it seems like, especially now, Marvel definitely is in a tough situation. I think that's fair to say, and I think a lot of people can agree with that. Marvel's definitely in a tough situation with what their plan is going forward, and like in the future. Like before, they had this massive 10-year plan with an Infinity Saga. Now what?
Well,
Like
yeah, they're running out
what
of
do they
material.
what do they do now? There's plenty of material for them to use, but I feel like they haven't they haven't like completely like went 100% in on one of those like ideas yet, because
Yeah,
there's not really like a clear path, if you want to say it that way.
Mhm.
But it also still doesn't seem like Marvel's in any trouble compared to what DC's going through.
I don't think Marvel's in trouble. I think they just kind of have to make a decision, pick a
Well,
destination.
yeah, just pick
'Cause
the
right now they're kind of
destination.
cruising.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting all these movies, and a lot of them are really good movies. It's just that when with Iron Man and the first Avenger and all these movies, we saw how they were going to tie into each other very early on.
Well, that was the appeal, right? They wanted to.
Yeah, we got this connected thing, but now we haven't gotten that fully yet, which is also just kind of like being like a spoiled fan, I guess.
I forget
We're so used to it.
I forget which one it was, but I was in Greece and I torrented. Not that's not I'm not incriminating myself. I torrented one of the Marvel movies, and this was like 2012, 2013. I believe it was an Avengers movie, but the end credit scene of this had a very crappy CGI Thanos.
Probably Avengers, the first one. Avengers
Probably.
1. Yeah.
And it didn't click for me until then. I'm like, oh, so they're doing the thing where
Yeah.
they bridge the movies. And then I don't know. I don't think it was until like years later, like into high school, maybe, where we started going to the movies and seeing the Marvel ones, where I was like, okay, I see what they're doing here.
I think I was the same way because I saw the first Avengers movie, and I saw the end credit scene, and then I'm like,
Like,
oh,
who's this
okay,
purple
like
guy?
who's this guy, whatever.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, I think the next time you see Thanos is in maybe no, was it the Dark World? You see him maybe at the end, or the second Avengers? I don't
I
remember.
want to say it was Age of Ultron that I watched.
Maybe it was Age of Ultron.
Because
Maybe
I
you're right,
remember I
but
didn't really like Age of Ultron that much.
then you saw the end credits.
Yeah,
Like,
credits
oh,
scene, and
okay.
I'm like, who the hell is this guy?
Because that's when it clicked. The next time I saw him, I was like, oh, like this. That's Thanos. This is the big bad. This is what they're going for
Yeah.
maybe the whatever third Avengers movie, which obviously was the fourth Avengers movie, but
I don't
still
even think
very
they
good.
had. I don't even think they had Brolin voicing it. I don't think you heard him talk.
I don't.
I think he was just on.
I don't know.
throne.
Yeah, I don't know if he talked in the first event in the Avengers movie, or whatever. Well, he's definitely Brolin definitely wasn't cast as him
No,
yet because
not
it was
yet.
way too soon. You don't know. They didn't know who was going to play him, but Yeah, the CGI was thankfully it took them 10 years to fully show Thanos, because the CGI was pretty bad in the first Avengers movie,
Yeah, but
which is fair enough. It was 2012.
they picked it up.
Yeah.
They got their act together. There was some CGI on those early Avengers movies that were a little off too.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. It was very
Definitely
early.
campier. Yeah.
Yeah, very like start of how good CGI was getting.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
What else you got? Anything?
I think that's it for me.
Yeah, we definitely
Obi-Wan on the horizon.
definitely a longer episode. We've missed a few weeks, so longer episode out this week, which is good.
Obi-Wan in a few weeks.
Yeah, I can't wait for Obi-Wan. Oh, and then I'm excited for this week. I believe it came out. I got to pick it up though. It was the first issue of the Death of the Justice League event.
Okay.
So next week I'm going to do a breakdown of the first issue. I think I'm going to do like a quick 5-minute little breakdown of what's going on for there, because it'll be enough time where there won't be spoilers, whatever. It'll be good, but I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that sounds cool. And we got Obi-Wan on the horizon. We got Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange this week. Yep.
When does it come out?
Friday. We got to get tickets.
Oh,
Still
yeah,
haven't
that's
gotten any
right.
tickets.
That's good to know. It's IMAX.
Hopefully, if you find one, for sure. Well, all right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.